Oh,
Oh,
you're so funny.
what's going
You're
on?
so funny. If you if you get me canceled, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
Nah, don't worry. I'll be good. I'm good. Listen, I'm only comedy is where I'm like that. And that's what people need to understand. Comedy is just comedy.
Where are you from? Why do you talk like that?
I'm from New York.
That's why you talk like that.
Yeah, I'm from New York. Yeah, I'm from Staten Island
Why
originally.
is why is it so aggressive when you guys talk?
Uh, it's probably a direct result of growing up in the city, because the pace, like if you live in New York, right, and you grow up in New York, especially when I grew up in New York, you know what I mean? Like New York's a little softer than it was. I mean, I'm not that I'm 70, but you know what I mean? I'm not 20, like if you weren't assertive, if you weren't aggressive, not disrespectful, not, I'm always good to people. I'll give the shirt off my back for anybody. But I think that like that assertiveness just gets into your DNA, growing up in a city like that. You know what I mean? You know?
Okay, so please tell us who you are for those of us who don't know who you are.
All right. Well, my name's Cliff is my real name. As far
Cliff,
Yeah, that's my real name.
the whitest guy.
Yeah. At Whitest Guy, that's the comic. That's Wally Wurgle and all those crazy dudes. You know what I mean? As far as hip hop, people know me as Focus City Don't Sleep. That's where the CDS comes from. And grew up in New York. Been writing music since I'm 12 years old. The comedy is more something I've been doing in the past 4 or 5 years more. I've always done a little bit of comedy while performing hip hop shows or hosting events and things of that nature, but never like where like the whole focus was like a 20-minute comedy set or anything like that. You know what I mean? But now I'm putting a little more eggs in the comedy basket because at the end of the day, it's better to be an old comedian than an old rapper. You know what I mean? Like I'm always gonna do hip hop music independently. Lyricism is what hip hop is to me. So I'm always gonna try to put messages through music and things like that. But you don't want to be 62 years old trying to shop a deal either. You know what I mean? I'm still 20 something years away from that, but
Okay, so now here's my question then. So you're an artist. So I discovered you as a comedian.
yeah.
How did this happen? Because you do a lot of social commentary. Like, how did that happen?
As far as social commentary, that's always been something that I've been very passionate about. When I was very young, I grew up in a super, super white neighborhood, and I was always involved in hip hop culture. So, like I said, I started writing at 12. So I got almost like double reverse racism because I was a white dude in a super white neighborhood that was writing rhymes and rapping. And, back then I was probably like trying to be something more than I actually was. But then as I got older, I lived in predominantly minority neighborhoods. I hate the word minority, but even though it's accurate, but I hate that fucking word. But I lived in predominantly minority neighborhoods as the only white person, and I actually received less racism from being white in Black and Spanish neighborhoods than I received from being white in white neighborhoods, being a rapper and somebody who was connected to the culture at the time, you know. So social commentary it's just always been in me to like, look into things. And when I make social commentary, they're informed. It's informed. It's not emotion. I see nuance. There's nuance in everything. You know, Black and white, there's no such thing. I mean, and when I say black and white, I don't mean like, as far as people, but when it comes to issues, nothing's black and white. There's a gray area in everything. And I think everyone ignores the gray area nowadays. And that's why we're in the position we're in as far as the country, as far as, those type of issues. So, for me, I see a bunch of people making social commentary that their opinions, you can tell you that they're either emotional or they're uninformed. And that goes for everyone. Like I was the white dude, even though I was the white dude in the Black neighborhoods, if we were talking about Black issues or shit like that, and they were being too militant in their thought process, even in those issues, I'd have to be like, listen, if you become what you hate, you're not much better than what you hate at that point, you know? And I always saw things from every angle, regardless. And I've always been someone to speak my mind, even if, you know, maybe it wasn't the best time. I'm lucky I probably didn't get my head popped off living in the Bronx, you know, being the way I was. You know what I mean? You know?
That was wow. Wow, that was very powerful.
You know? You know?
Okay.
I see. I grew up in New York too. You got to understand. There's a lot of people. Like I grew up in New York when Giuliani was mayor of New York, right? So
Yeah.
Giuliani cleaned up New York for sure, but I also witnessed the force in which he cleaned up New York and the racism behind it. You know, you see all this shit now with camera phones and this, that. People don't understand. Like I grew up in New York in the 90s. Okay, like I got my ass beat by cops for talking like an N-word. You know what I mean? What are you doing with
Yeah.
the N-words? You know what I mean? And so you can't deny that, unfortunately, racism is tied in to policing. You know, but at the same time, that's where you got to go to the other side of the coin and see the nuance of it. Because sometimes, unfortunately, there's situations where nobody should get killed by cops unless somebody has a gun and is shooting and this, that. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Knives,
Yeah.
it depends on the situation. Maybe you could get killed if you got a knife, depending on the proximity to an officer or another person you might injure and things like that. But, like, there's a lot of situations even in that realm where people, like the dude, what's his name? Jacob Blake, right? The dude, Jacob Blake, that got shot in his back. That shit was extreme, no question about it. But we
Yeah.
can't pretend like he was George Floyd. We can't pretend it was as egregious as George Floyd was. You know, we have to see gray area and see nuance. And I don't see enough of that. And that's why on the social commentary angle, that's where I try to always come from. You know, I try to always, if I see, I'm a nut. Like if I see a meme where somebody's like, oh, Donald Trump did this, or Joe Biden did this, or the police did this, most people just share that shit. They're like, oh, this sounds like something I agree with, so I'm going to share it. And then it takes you 5 minutes sometimes to find out that 80% of those facts aren't facts.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, you know, like hip hop, comedy, and like the social commentary. Those are probably like my, like where I'm going streamline focus from now on. That's where I'm going to try to, like, you know, aim all the entertainment, you know, angles at. That's with the website. You know, that's why you're a big part of that. Why I want to add you onto the website too, because I think, you know, watching a lot, you know, some of the conversations you've had, you know, like you try to get to the deeper, you know, under layers of whatever discussion you're in. So whether it's politics or love or whatever it might be, people aren't peeling the onion back enough nowadays. And, you know.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. That. Okay. So who would you say is your target audience?
everyone.
Why?
Because too many people only talk to a side or a group. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You watch
Yeah.
CNN, these nutbags are only talking to liberals who want to cancel everybody. You know, then you watch Fox News and they're only talking to, you know, Second Amendment. I hate abortion, you know, and, you know, I think that's the problem. I think that's why we're in the position we're in. And social media drives it because your algorithm ends up being based upon what you like, what you talk
Yeah.
about. And it don't give you enough of the other side. It's like, oh,
No,
you like police
it
shootings?
doesn't.
Here's a whole bunch of police shootings. Oh, you like puppies? Here's a whole bunch of puppies. You know, you like iPhones? Oh, here's iPhone shit. Like, so you got iPhone, Galaxy. That's a battle. Republican, Democrat, black, white, boxing, MMA, whatever it might be. Like, the fuck? I like everything. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with some shit Republicans say. I agree with some shit Democrats say. You know, that's why I never self-identify as anything on that lane, you know? And that's why, like obviously, listen, with the comedy, my shit is definitely vulgar and edgy at times. You know what I mean? So I think that the audience might be a little more niche at times. You know, like not completely niche, but like, you know, there's some shit that I know, but that's what's beautiful about comedy. You know, me and my girl, we watched like 3 different stand-up things in like 12 hours. We watched Godfrey on the Tiffany Haddish shit. We watched Brian Regan and we watched Bert Kreischer. You know, I put, you know, like I'm a big comedy fan, so I put her on to all of those. I said, let's watch these, and we watched all three completely different flavors. You know what I mean? Completely different approaches. You know, but I like all of them, and there's a lot of people who see. I think more people see through a wider lens than is being shown on social media and in the news.
Yeah.
I think it's just unfortunately for clicks, for traffic. Once you know your audience, sometimes whether it's news, comedy, music, anything, sometimes you can streamline too much. And how do you ever pull people into a different thought or a different art or a different anything if you don't try to throw something out for everybody to nibble on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh crap. Okay. 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 So as a comedian, and I'm sorry, as an artist in general,
Yeah.
what's been your most memorable moment so far in like life?
My most memorable moment in life. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Oof. You know what it is? That's such a hard thing for me because like I've had like a lot of really good shit happen, but then I've also had a lot of really bad shit happen. So it's like you don't want memorable to be bad, but when you use the word memorable, memory is like, oh, here's some real good shit. Like I just thought of like 20 of each. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like from an entertainer's perspective, it'd probably be like I did a show once that had like, I don't know, like 3,000 people. You know what I mean? You know, it was an outside venue, and that's probably one of them. You know what I mean? Because like, with the hip hop, I've made money over the years. Haven't made a ton of money, made some money. You know what I mean? Done a lot of tours, shit like that. But a lot of the times, you know, if you're not known, you know, you might get 200-300 in most of your venues. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, I would get hooked in with a good promoter or somebody I knew that liked my music, said come do a set or whatever it might be, and I got pulled into the bigger ones. Entertainment-wise, I would have to say that. You know what I mean? Because you know, I mean, when you got that, you know, as an entertainer, that's what you want to do. You want to affect people, and that's the largest amount of people I've been able to affect that I can see at the same time. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It does make sense. Yeah. I was gonna ask you, like, what does it feel like to be in social media jail?
Oh my God. Shit, I feel like a 25 to lifer at this point. You know what I mean? I got some social media tears on my eye right here. You know what I mean? Got a little black social media tear. I got a jail tattoo on my ass cheek. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell, you know? And you know what's crazy? What's crazy about it is anybody who really knows me, like just knows me, Cliff. You know what I mean? The person throughout my life. I, if anything, have been accused throughout my life of being like too liberal or a social justice warrior or all that type of shit. Because in life, that's what I do. Like I fight for the disenfranchised. I've always been that type of dude, whether it's somebody getting bullied right next to me, you know, or fucking, you know, issues. Because, you know, it's like, all right, boom. So not to get sidetracked, because I tend to do that. So let me stay on track, you know. So in life, that's how I am for the most part. Always been like, you know, leader of the pack on these issues to a degree as a white dude. You know, most white dudes, they either shut up about those issues, they're racist, or they'll barely say a little something about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except the younger generation who are virtual signaling all over the place, don't know anything about any subjects, but they're just like, yeah, cancel him, cancel her, cancel everyone.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's based on something similar I was when I was young, which is just being virtuous. You know what I mean? You just want to do what you think is right. But once again, the onion. So the social media shit, it's ridiculous because 90% of the shit I've been blocked for, whether I've been blocked on everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook is the most, Instagram second most, you know what I mean? And then Twitter will get you every once in a while, you know. But like 95% of the time, it's comedy. It's comedy. I'm just trying to make people laugh. Now, am I going to offend some people on the path to that laughter? Of course. But that's comedy. Comedy's supposed to talk about sensitive shit or pop culture zeitgeist stuff and, you know, stuff that might ruffle some feathers. That's what comedy's supposed to be. And, or at least, most of the comedy I veer towards. I like social you know, socially conscious comedy a lot. So I like goofy shit too, but you know, anything can be offensive to somebody, right? If you have black hair and someone's making fun of black hair, you might be like, oh, I have black hair. I don't like this joke very much. You know what I mean? If you're white, you might not like white jokes. You're black, you might not like black jokes. You're fat, you might not like fat jokes. You know, whatever. And I'm kind of fat, so I can make fat jokes. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. But but it's not meant to hurt. You know what I mean? Like, as long as the delivery system isn't foul, I don't think people should focus on canceling of comedy at all. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, if somebody's a racist, and 2 weeks ago they were on video calling someone an N-word or some other racial slang or some prejudice, and then they're making jokes that also seem like they're down that pipe, I can understand that a little more. You know, but you ain't gonna catch me in life ever being disrespectful to anybody. You know what I mean? You disrespect me first, you'll have a brown bear on your hands. You know what I mean? But I'm all about respect. It's always the way I've been. You know what
Wait, what? Wait, what? you have a brown bear on your hands? What does that mean? I'm from the South, so I don't know.
In other words, if you're disrespectful to me when I'm being nothing but respectful to you.
No. You said you have a brown bear on your hands.
Oh, just meaning you can see the claws. You're gonna see some other thing. You know what I mean? You know, I'll go from a cocker spaniel to a fucking raptor real quick. You know what I mean? But that's only because I give so much respect.
You guys in the North are so funny. But you guys in the North are so funny. Okay. But so
social media jail shit is bullshit. All right. Just to nail home a main point for me, I'm big on free speech. Right. Free speech is what got disenfranchised groups their rights. That's what made it happen. Free speech. You know what I mean? Gays. You know, black, anything, anybody who was disenfranchised. Trans people now are one of the, main groups that are fighting hard right now. You know what I mean? But over fighting a little too much.
But are they fighting for hard though?
No. Well, that's the problem in a way. That's the problem. Like, they're fighting. They're getting it almost easier than anybody, which is the crazy.
So easy.
But I think that's a direct reflection of the fact that we are becoming better humans for the most part.
Ooh. Wow, okay.
I don't agree with a lot of the things going on in that direction, especially when it comes to sports and things like that. But I think a good amount of the reason why it's happening is just because nowadays, and a lot of it's driven by the youth. The youth is super virtuous nowadays, which is good and bad, and that's why we got to be careful. We got to be careful because I don't like hate speech. And if I see somebody say something hateful to somebody in public, and John Quinones popped out from What Would You Do, he'd probably have someone knocked out on the floor. You know what I mean? If I see that shit in my face. But keep going. With silencing, we're trying to silence certain groups of people. It's never going to work like that. It'll always come back to everybody. Yeah, no, say it, please.
Sorry. No, I I'm trying I'm trying not to get blocked off social media. Like, I just feel like I feel like we like to be oppressed. Like I feel like you said, it's very easy for the transgender community to be accepted because we're like, yeah, you're human, whatever, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't tell me, you cannot make a law saying that I had to call you a certain way. You cannot make a law saying this is something I've been it's gonna come to light regardless one day anyway. I'm making a joke with a lot of my straight male friends, and I've said to them, let's say that we get married. You and I get married.
Yeah.
Okay. Our wedding night, I say, hey, just so you know, I used to be a guy. How would you feel?
Oof. That's rough. Like,
why is it rough?
I don't know how I look at it. You know what I mean? Like, as long as
you love me,
you didn't still have a dick. You know what I mean?
No, I don't have a dick anymore.
As long as you don't got a dick anymore, and if the relationship is deep, I guess it might, it might not too much. But what I do think, though, is if somebody does still have that other body part, You know what I mean?
No, like I don't have a dick anymore, but I was born a man.
Yeah.
As by the way, on our wedding night,
Well,
guess what we got?
how long we been together though? Because that matters. If we've been together 6 months, I might be a little more.
You proposed to me. It's been a while.
It's been a while. All right, all right.
That's a long time to lie. Who said that?
You know what I mean?
That's a long time to lie.
You know, that's the whole.
I just feel like we all want our own story to like to say that like, oh, it was so hard for us, but like but it's not that hard. Okay, anyway, okay.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean, listen, there is no group in America that it's as hard for as it ever was. There's no doubt about that. We've made leaps.
no, for sure.
We've made leaps and bounds. It don't mean that racism doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that prejudice isn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Your followers are so funny.
You know what I mean? It don't mean like, it don't mean. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Who's that? Real. Yeah. So the whitest guy, is he still on? You think this real name Winton? Is he still on here?
I don't think he's on anymore.
All right. I was gonna answer, but oh, I can't. Oh shit! I didn't even realize I joined from this account. I guess you can go live when you're blocked, but you can't. I can't post.
This is the reason why you're blocked.
You know what I mean? Like, you know. But especially here though, especially here, like if shit is just comedy. Like I'm making. Listen, when it comes to the characters and all that shit I do, like the character comedy, like look how ridiculous things have gotten. Look how ridiculous Republicans are acting. Look how ridiculous liberal people are acting. If you can't laugh at that shit, then I don't know what to tell you. If you love Biden's balls, so you can't laugh at Biden, then you got a problem. If you love Trump's balls, so you can't laugh at Trump, that's your problem. Me?
Yeah.
I don't agree with either. I agree with some here and there, but you know what? If I think of some shit and it makes me giggle, I'm fucking posting it. And I hope some people giggle with me. And they do tend to giggle with me. I get some fucking offended people. But what am I going to do? What are they going to do? This is my question to you, right? You see this Meek Mill shit going on lately?
No.
You know who Meek Mill is, right?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
He sounds like a rapper.
The rapper. So yeah. We'll just pretend like you knew, right? So so he had like a Kobe bar. He said something about Kobe in a rhyme, a fucking rhyme, a lyric. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, oh, they're trying to cancel him for it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's and I told everybody, now they're coming for hip hop. Hip hop was one of the last places where you could still say bitch and hoe and call somebody the F word, for gay. I don't want to say the slang because I don't want to, hot button us. But you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or somewhere in between. What I'm trying to say is cancel culture will come for everybody if we do not start to control cancel culture. It's gonna come for everybody. These idiots that are friggin', oh, I'm so virtuous. You better call them the, they, them, whatever their pronoun is, all that shit. It's gonna come for you. It's gonna come for you at some point. You're gonna want to say some shit, and there might be someone else in power at that point that disagrees with what you think. And then
so I have a 3-part question.
Okay. Do me a favor. Whenever needed, tell me shut the fuck up.
No, you're
no, I'm just saying. I'm like one of those dudes. I tell anybody who I talk to on the phone for the first time that I'm friends with anything, I'm like, listen, sometimes you gotta tell me to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Zona, exactly. You can't tell the difference between oppression anymore. But what's the last question? And write it down because I'm not gonna remember it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I sent you something earlier this week about Coca-Cola.
Oh, that whole shit.
For those people who are watching this in the future, Coca-Cola made a HR program teaching their employees how not to be white.
Be less white.
I would like to be less white. Sorry. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's obviously dumb as rocks. You know what I mean? Like, how can you fight? You can't fight oppression with oppression. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't fight racism with racism. You can't fight hate with hate.
But a lot of black people say that you don't know what it's like to be oppressed because you've never been oppressed before.
For sure. And that's true. And that's true. And that's what people don't understand about white privilege. Like I've had probably one of the hardest lives of anybody I know, regardless of race. You know what I mean? Like grew up poor, been out on my own since I'm 16 years old, paying rent since 16, literally. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know, so if anybody's going to say, well, white privilege don't exist because white people struggle, it would be me who would be able to say that because I had a harder life than most black dudes I knew that I was best friends with. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
that's all white privilege means. It just means that I've never not gotten a job, or like a cop never pulled me over just what's that white guy? Well, maybe in black neighborhoods they pull me over at times. Like, oh, what's this white boy doing in the black neighborhood? That has happened, but that's not the same thing. You know what I mean? That's still a byproduct of the regular racism. You know what I'm saying? So that's all white privilege means. It just means that I've never went into a job and went to get hired and they're like, oh, well, he's white. You know what I mean? They did not hire me for that reason. And that's people need to understand. I understand it's a hot button word and it makes white people uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean what people think. Just like Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean the way the All Lives Matter people, perceive it. So what the hell is the original question? Because I'll be all over the
You're
place.
so funny. Do you think that we need training courses to be less white?
Oh yeah, that shit just dumb. It's dumb as fuck. I mean, I think I'm not against some type of, whatever they call them, sensitivity courses or shit like that, because there might be people. I don't think it should be mandated. I don't think people should have to do it. I think it should be available at a company if somebody feels like maybe they don't have a lot of experience with a certain group of people and they actually want to on their own decide, you know what, maybe I do need to understand the perspectives of, other people I might not have been around as much, or, don't know their culture as much, or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? That, I don't think there's something wrong with that per se. Cause
Sure.
ignorance is what breeds racism. It's lack of information or knowledge about somebody else. Most that's what ignorance literally means. People have
Sure.
turned ignorance into meaning like stupid. That's what ignorance means. You're dumb. No, it's not what ignorance literally means. Lack of information or knowledge on a subject or person. That's literally what the word means, and that's what breeds racism. So I don't think the thought process is wrong of trying to maybe teach some people who if you grew up in an all white neighborhood, a lot of your perceptions of, or maybe you never knew a Muslim, or your perceptions of disenfranchised groups are going to be the media's description, are going to be movies portrayals, so you're good. Like, that's what breeds it. Most people who, I mean, that I'll tell you, boom, grew up in a white neighborhood. When I was really young, I had a little bit of racism implanted in the back of my white head somewhere, not having any originally having very little contact with anybody else but white people, and heard, maybe certain family members use slangs and slurs and things like that. So but literally around 9, 10 years old, 7, 8, 9, I had a friend in my neighborhood. His name was Rob, right? One black kid in the neighborhood. You want to know what his nickname is? The same dudes that try to tell me they ain't racist that I grew up with, his nickname was N-word Rob. And I ain't talking about GA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
R, like a motherfucker. And we were actually friends. I was friends with him growing up and shit. You know what I mean? So I guess I was never as racist as some of the people I came up with, but I still had a little bit of that shit from TV, from this and that. But my interactions with other cultures, other people, showed me that those things weren't true. I lived if there was even a little bit of prejudice that was still floating around in me by the time I was 18, 19, which I don't think there was, who knows subliminally what goes on in your fucking brain from programming and shit. I lived in the South fucking Bronx. You know what I mean? The South Bronx. There wasn't a white motherfucker for miles. You know what I mean? And was good. Treated with respect, gave respect, got respect. So, all right, once again, sidetracked. Original thing. Interaction and information about people you don't know about can help you learn how to deal with people better.
Oh.
So I don't think the initial thought process bad. I think the mandating of it and the branding of it is bad.
Oh, yeah.
You know, don't
Yeah.
mandate it and don't brand it be less white. I don't know if that's literally what they said. That might have been a
It
meme.
was, it was, it was that. It was that.
Like in Coca-Cola's like literature. Jesus fucking.
It said how to be less white.
You know, I tell all my black peoples that I'm close with, right? You know what I mean? I got a lot of black and Spanish friends, you know what I mean? And I tell these motherfuckers, I'm like, if this shit comes full circle and 40, 50 years down the line, there's only 15, 20% pure whites in America. You know, it's black people like 13, 15% of the population in America. So let's say there's only 14, 50% pure white at that time. And we're getting treated, you motherfuckers better stick up for those disenfranchised white motherfuckers the way I be sticking up because shit is going that direction. You know what I mean? I'm going to get my ass beat for being white when I'm like 74. And I'll be like, no, what do you mean? Like, I was always trying to make this shit right. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So follow up question then. I don't know how to phrase this, so forgive me if this sounds insensitive.
Nah, fuck that. I'm not that type of person. We're having a
Okay.
there's no room for worrying about that.
What are your thoughts on white guilt? Like, I'm sorry that I was born white.
All right. To have a literal feeling in your side yourself where you're like, I am so sorry I was born white. Fucking ridiculous. Out of control. Dumb as anything else I call dumb so far. Acknowledgement of what my ancestors did. And they weren't even my ancestors, I don't think. I'm pretty sure my family came in like with Ellis Island and all that shit. You know what I mean? So they were probably like some Irish motherfuckers that were treated like dirt when they first came in. You know what I'm saying? But
The Irish were treated like dirt. They were. They were.
I'm pretty sure my family is more Ellis Island than like, you know, prior to that, like, you know, like slave owners or that.
Do you know who Theo Von is?
Yeah, I know Theo Bonus. Yeah, I like him. He's
Do
hilarious.
you know his stand up? His stand up about racism,
Yeah,
where he's like, "Do you think that I would enslave you and move right next door to you?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, you know, the white the term white guilt is silly to me. You know what I mean? Because you shouldn't be guilty. Like, listen, unless your great grandfather, you know what I mean? Literally, if your great grandfather, right, literally owned 30 slaves and he was fucking having sex with the women, aka raping them, you know what I mean? You know, and if that's your literal family lineage, I can see that applying maybe to those people. But you can't have guilt for something that you didn't take part in. You could have sympathy and empathy, and you could have,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh.
like I've said in the
Yeah.
past, like sin, like, you know, like I still say sins of my ancestors, even though they weren't, you know, my ancestors literally. You know what I mean? Like, it was fucked up, colonization, and you know everything that went on. It was fucked up. But then I also devil's advocate shit that I always say to my black peoples. I'm like, listen, but let's think about it though. Let's just say black people were the ones who did that, right? They turned into the colonizers, and the world was flipped. What do you
Yeah.
do? You think those white people would have been given the best food and treated great? They probably would have been treated like fucking shit too, you know. And
Yeah.
that's not an excuse. I'm just saying, you know, those were the people conquering the world at the time. They happened to be white and Spanish a lot of times. Spaniards. That's what a lot of people don't forget too. It was Spain. It was Spain as well. You know what I mean? And you know, pieces of shit and fucked up, and history's fucked up, and it's disgusting. You know what I mean? What was done in history to many groups, but obviously black Americans are, you know, I always say to my peoples, if we're playing the fucking you know, the racism Olympics, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, which I hate to do, because like I'll get my black friends that'll do that shit. They'll be like if a Native American issue gets resolved or a Hispanic issue gets involved, they'll be like, oh, but they still ain't taking care of the black people, this and that. I'm like, yeah, that might not be right. There might be more to do in that area. But are we playing the oppression Olympics? Because if we're playing the oppression Olympics,
Yeah.
nobody got it worse than natives. Nobody. Nobody. And then
Yeah.
Jewish people were able to rise after, you know, World War II and everything. They got it pretty fucking bad too. You know what I mean? They got
Yeah.
like 30, 40 million people got fucking slaughtered. You know, so I think one of the main problems why we can't get past this faster is disenfranchised groups, rather than working together, You know, I've seen it with my own eyes. Black and Spanish people didn't get along in the hood half the time.
No,
You know what I
we
mean?
don't.
I'm like, what are
We
you?
don't.
I'm white watching from the outside. Like, if you want to beat the scumbags who look like me, that are scumbags, how the fuck ain't y'all working together? You put black
Yeah.
Latinos together, you're talking about fucking more than whites, or very close to it. You know what I mean? At least close. So I
Yeah.
don't know, man. I don't know. The white guilt shit, you know, acknowledgement, yeah. You know what I mean? Acknowledge the past. You know, try to make the future better. Recognize what's still wrong. If you're a white person that really feels bad for things that are, but that's virtue signaling shit. That's virtue. That's perfect example of virtue signaling. So white guilt, white guilt. That's all that dumb shit. That's when liberals get stupid. You know, I'm super liberal minded, super humanitarian based.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like more than anybody, probably more than most of these people. You know, they just became not racist 2 years ago. Some of them. You know what I mean? Summer of 2003, they were calling black people the N-word, and now all of a sudden they got a hold of Twitter. You know what I mean? And they're the most now you're the most virtuous. Get the fuck out of here. I've been fighting for what's right since I'm fucking 15. You know, 13 years old. You know, damn near getting jumped in my own neighborhood for not being a racist. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Alberto just said, some African countries were selling other Africans to the Americas, and nobody asked them about Black African guilt and being respectful to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, no, that's so like
Yeah.
it seems like I said earlier, it feels like we just like to be sad, and it's like it's not our burden to bear. Like our ancestors fought to get us to look at each other like we're talking now,
Yeah. Yeah. Of
you know.
course.
And I said this all the time. I said all the time that if MLK or Malcolm X, etc., or Shakespeare woke up one day and saw us fighting with each other, they'd be like, "What do you guys? Can I curse?"
Yeah. Oh, are you crazy? I probably cursed.
They would look at us and be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? What did I die for?"
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, okay, something silly. Okay, silly. So,
Uh,
so you're an MMA fan
yeah. Yeah. And boxing. Yeah. Both.
and boxing fan. Okay, so what two comedians would you like to see in the cage?
What two comedians would I like to see in the cage? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
See,
alive or dead?
you can't say Joe Rogan because like he has training in MMA, but he'll just fuck up whoever he fights probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Even though he's one of my favorites and shit. Who would I want to see? All right. Honestly, I'm fans of them currently, and they're friends. So I would like to see. You know who Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura are?
You're not friends with them.
No, I'm not friends with them. I'm saying they're friends. I'm saying they're friends.
Oh, okay.
If I'm friends with them, I hope I'd be further than I am, even though I'm doing okay. You know what I mean?
Bert and who?
Bert and Tom. I'd like to see them two fight. You know what I mean? Put them in the cage.
I feel like Bert would win.
I feel like he might too. I think it depends because I think a lot of people sleep on Tom Segura. You know what I mean? I think because like Bert Kreischer continued to be like and do weird athletic things where Tom used to be an athlete and just, got even bigger than Bert in a way at times. You know what I mean? Size wise. But I just think it would be funny because they're both fat dudes, they're both big dudes. You know what I mean? It would just be a funny scrap. You know what I mean? I just think it would be a funny scrap. Yeah, you know.
I'm Carr said Kevin Hart and Cat Williams. Who do you think would win between?
See, that's good. That's like the under 5 foot division. You know what I mean? I mean, like that's like some WWE. Remember they used to have the midget wrestling. You know what I mean?
Stop it! You can't say that. You can't say that
Remember
word.
when they used to have the dwarf wrestling? The dwarf.
You can't say that.
Dwarf is the word. Yo, check this shit out. Believe it or not, dwarf is the word that they actually deem as the right word now. That's the right word.
Only stomach hurts.
Do you know the comedian Brad Williams? You know Brad?
Mm-mm.
He's he's, act,
Mm-mm.
he's actually okay. You ready? I'll give you a better one. He's a height deficient comic.
You're so stupid.
Brad. That's what I'll say from now on. I'll say height deficient. All right. but but he's a comic and he's fucking hilarious. You should actually go on Amazon Prime. I think he has a free special on it. Do you have Prime?
I don't, but I'll get your password later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brad Williams.
What?
But listen,
I'm crying.
why I'm saying this. He has talked about this in the past, and he has said like they took away. Okay, I'm gonna say the M word. Okay, I would say the M word. He's like they took away that word and they gave us this other word. He's like the word better. You know what I mean? Like how is dwarf the right word? Like what the fuck is going on? You know? But anyway,
But that's how I feel a lot about like this whole like PC culture.
yeah.
It's like I didn't ask for this.
Oh my. And you know what though?
Like you're not. It's like you're not paying attention. You didn't listen. Like I said, I said I want a higher paying job.
Yeah.
Get rid of Aunt Jemima. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
You're not listening.
Yeah. I think they got Uncle Ben too.
Uncle Ben too.
So to counter racism and oppression, they killed 2 black icons. Think about that shit.
You're so stupid.
That's fucked up. That shit's fucked up, man. They hired.
Oh my god.
They motherfuckers hired the police. The fucking.
Oh, you're so stupid. They give me my police.
Fuck kind of shit is that?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
But actually,
Okay. Be professional. Okay. What two politicians would you like to see in the case together, alive or dead?
Alive or dead? Let's see. I'm gonna say, damn. What do you?
If they take this video down, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
Nah, you good. You know, make sure once you do it, I'm gonna download it anyway.
Okay.
I'm screen capping it right now. That's not gonna happen.
Okay, good. Okay.
That's not but then I'm gonna download yours for the audio.
But then if the FBI knocks on my door, I'll be like, yo, don't.
Nah, you good. All right, this is what I would say. Even though Abraham Lincoln was low key also a racist, you know what I mean? Even though people want to act like he wasn't, you know what I mean? Like he said some crazy shit, you know what I mean? He was.
Can I say something real quick? Can I say something really quick?
Yeah, of course.
Why are you surprised that he was a racist?
Not.
Why is everyone surprised?
What I'm surprised.
It's like when who was it not cowboy actor.
Cowboy actor. Cowboy actor.
Cowboy actor. Not
Cowboy actor. John Wayne.
Not John Wayne was racist.
Oh.
But then it's like, are you surprised? Are you surprised that Elvis was a rapist? Are you surprised?
Well,
like
everyone was a rapist back then, because
rapist or racist. Like, don't just listen to the music or listen to music and shut up.
I don't disagree with that either. The only thing that bugs me out.
No, not Clinton Swift. Not Clinton Swift. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy.
Who?
Someone said Clint Eastwood. This isn't trying to give us Lincoln.
Oh, nah, Clint. All right, Clint's like the typical old white guy. You know what I mean?
He's an old white guy.
If he's seen somebody be racist in the same room as him, he probably wouldn't be okay with it, but he's also racist. It's like one of those things. You know what I mean? It's like this weird thing where, like, you know, there's like those old white guys. Like, I think he's one of those. Like, he wouldn't stand for it because it's bullying, but then he probably uses the same words like in his circle. you know what I'm saying? He's like one of those old.
You're so okay. What two politicians?
So I'm gonna say I want, even though, like I said, we know he, like, the reason I was saying the racist thing with Abe is because he was at least a better guy, even though he was a racist. So I want him, and he didn't own no slaves or nothing. I want him to fuck up Washington. You know what I mean? Because Washington owned bad slaves, and he was the first president. So that's like a good battle right there. You know what I mean?
No, I want Washington to win.
You would want Washington to win?
Because he's the first president.
I can respect the position of power and the fact that he's the first president, all that good shit. But I don't go out of my way to. I'm not gonna go out of my way to celebrate these people that were so fucking morally fucking flawed either, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not. I'm not doing it, man. Like you ain't.
Okay, okay. Okay. So speaking of cancel culture, Potato Head.
Oh, I just heard. Yeah, I heard this a little bit earlier today. So now, what are they doing? He's just gonna be Potato Head, not Mister.
It's just Potato Head.
And then when the kid gets it, like what? What are they giving him? Like either a fucking an eggplant or a rose, and he's gonna put it down where the potato spud's supposed to be, and he's gonna be fucking.
He doesn't even he doesn't even have like a thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. He doesn't have a gender, but he has a gender by being Mister. He's Mister. It's misogynistic. It proliferates the toxic masculinity that has plagued this nation. You know, I don't fucking know, man. These motherfuckers. But this is what I'm saying. The only thing I hope for is that it's just overcorrection. Because what tends to happen when you have correction, right? And I don't think that's a good correction regardless, but, you know, men definitely treated fucking women and everyone else like shit for fucking ever because they were in control, and that's just a fact. There's no denying.
Still present tense. But we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, well, still, I mean, it's still going down, you know, to a degree better than it was, you know, but definitely still going down. But that's why Me Too, like this, what I'm referencing, like the Me Too movement was important, even though it went too far. You know what I mean? So you had your overcorrection. You know, your Louis C.K. correction. Louis C.K., you know about Louis C.K., his situation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, listen, he's a pervert. It's but he was asking women if he could beat off in front of them. Every time he asked, he's like, hey, do you mind? Is this okay? But, like, he would ask before he pulled it out. You know what I'm saying? So even though it's fucked up, you know, like, he ain't Harvey Weinstein. You know?
This looks so bad. This looks so bad. I'm not laughing at the situation, guys. I'm laughing the way he said it. It's not funny. I'm laughing at the way I'm not laughing.
You know, but you know what I'm saying? But
because I can imagine him be like, hey, can I, you know, hey.
Like, you mind? You mind? I'm gonna pull out the red rocket and give him a ride. You know what I mean? like, you know? You know?
I still think this was a bad. This was a very bad idea. Doing this this is a very bad idea. Okay, okay.
But these Ashley, these conversations have to be had. And
do they?
Yes. Wanna know why? Wanna know why? Because on both sides of the equation,
Always happens.
you there?
Yes. Okay. So you're saying the conversation has to happen because on both sides of the equations.
Both sides of the equation, it's dumbass white people with the loudest voices. It's dumbass virtual signaling white people on one side going, we have to make Mr. What we got here? All right, you with me? All right. So
this happens like every time I go live on the weekends.
I don't care. It's all love. You know what I mean? That's nothing. so it's like those type of white people on one side, the virtue signaling, you know, we have to not gender, we have to, everything is Me Too, believe all women. They're controlling that conversation. And then on the other side of the conversation, it's like those overly throwback white people. You know what I mean? That don't want to see any progress. You know what I mean? They think everything's ridiculous, even a little bit of correction, because America. All right?
Yeah.
You need to speak up more on these things. It has to be you going, yo, this shit's ridiculous, in order for it to swing back to the middle. Otherwise, you're going to keep having overcorrection on one side and undercorrection on the other side, because it's just going to be more idiot white voices controlling both sides. You need women to speak up and be like, yo, listen, Obviously, sexual assault is bad. Obviously, women are treated like shit. But also, every man who says, hey, nice ass, isn't a fucking rapist. You know what I mean? Or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, it's important.
But I feel like every time I speak up, everyone compares me to Candace Owens.
God, how the fuck Candace Owens would like probably export half the black people in America out tomorrow if she could. Okay, you're just speaking up about the conversation. You know what I mean? Candace Owens, in my opinion, all right, she's one of two things, and we got to figure it out. We know she's an opportunist, right? That's a fact.
Yeah, she says things on purpose. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like right before Trump got elected, she was anti-Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, she was liberal for the most part, Democrat for the most part. Trump got elected, she went full scale the other way, dive in, because she knows not most, but there's a section of Trump supporters that are literally in a cult. He can't do no wrong, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's either an opportunist who's just a little bit of a bad person, or she really believes everything she says. And if she
I think she does. I think she does.
And if she does, she's an even worse person. Okay? Because you cannot completely disregard issues just because you want to stick to one ideology. You know, I get the not being a victim mentality that she tries putting forth, and she wants that to be one of, like, that's her byline probably through everything, which I kind of get that part of it. But regardless of who George Floyd was, regardless of, who he was, he went to jail, he might have did some fucked up shit, he was on drugs, committed crimes. I know a lot of people who committed crimes that ended up being great people as their life went on. And I know people who committed crimes and they were even great people when they did it, but life was just fucked up for them. You know what I mean? So I don't judge anyone one day, off one day of your life, you know what I mean? Or 1 year of your life, or even a section of your life. I judge you based upon the entirety of who you are as a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Certain lines you don't cross. You cross certain lines, you hurt kids, you rape, shit like that. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll kill you myself. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but fucking, not that I've done that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, people like that, I have there's no.
Don't, please don't confess to murder on my life. Please, I don't want to go to trial.
But the thing is, for her to go out of her way to feel the need.
Yeah. But that's what you're supposed to do, though. That's how you create content. That's how you stay relevant.
But he's dead. Once a man is dead, you don't need to go on TikTok and be like, oh, well, I understand he's dead, and what the cop did was wrong. But did you know he was a crackhead who once put a gun to a woman's belly in 2000?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Come on. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I think she's more focused on being famous than she is in actual progress and help. That's my opinion. I think that's her thing. And I understand. Like I said, I play devil's advocate constantly with minority friends with these fucking conversations. But she goes so far to the other side that it's like she ignores any possibility of systemic racism, any possibility that racism is still prevalent. All right, this bitch fucking sued when she was 18 years old. She had a lawsuit. Who's that?
Keep going.
Is that the person that's going to come in and be like, I love Candace Owens. Stop. What is he talking about? Candace Owens is a pain.
Okay, so where can we you, stalk you, follow you, all that fun stuff?
All right, so citydon'tsleep.com. That's my website. That'll have everything. If you just want to kind of go there, I'll also have your page. You're actually on there already. I put you on the featured artist area, and so I'm gonna give you the information so you could log into the blog soon and start your own little blog and do whatever the fuck you want to do. So citydon'tsleep.com will pretty much get everything. If you want to follow me on Instagram, at Whitest Guy is the character comedy, memes, roast, I love all and I roast all. That's all I can say. If you don't like edgy comedy and shit like that a little more, you can follow me on @FocusCDS. And that's going to be more just a combination of everything I do. Hip hop, comedy, social commentary, you know, all that good stuff.
And then two questions.
Yeah.
Um, why did the chicken cross the road?
Why? Why did the chicken cross the road? Um, why did the chicken cross the road? Because Chick-fil-A was trying to make a sandwich out of him on the side he was on. They're trying to make a chicken tender out of that motherfucker. He said, no.
Oh my God! I swear to God. If this video gets taken down.
Oh, no. Oh, we're going to have the vegans, the height deficient. Who else?
Stop it!
Yeah, everybody.
And then final question, Jesus Christ. Can we all get along?
We can all get along if we can learn to agree to disagree. At times, we have to agree to disagree and just say, I don't really agree with what you're saying. I'm going to try to process the stuff I don't agree with, but it's okay that it's okay that I don't agree. We have to learn to say that at times.
Wow.
You know?
Can we do this again?
What? Will I do this again?
Can we do this again?
Of course. Hell yeah.
Sorry, not to put you on the spot. Like, you can say no. You can say no.
No. We can do it again, like, whenever. We can do it. Let me know. You know what I mean? Let me know. And if you want, you can, like, I'll draw, like, a little scale for you. And you can pick, like, which, like, you know, how far I go with the shit I say. You can be like, all right, bro, you got to keep it, like, you know, like the pain scale? But we can have, like, the shit talk scale. You know what I mean? And you'll be like, all right, you can only talk about white people and tall people. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Oh my God. This is... If you're watching this in the future, I swear I'm a good person. It's him, not me.
Anybody that watched, I see we kept that steady 5 most of the time. I appreciate it all. Follow me. I'll follow back. If you do anything entertainment-wise, I'll support you in any way I can. Connect with me. Let's network. Let's make the world.
What does it feel like to be famous?
Me?
Yeah.
Famous? I ain't shit.
Yes, you are.
I ain't shit. I'm slowly trying to build something that
you have like over like 20,000 followers.
If you combine everything, I'm probably somewhere in
yeah.
If you combine everything, I'm probably in that pocket. But I still ain't shit. You know what I mean? I still ain't shit. I know how to do social media good. So like some of that shit is just me knowing how to, you know, freak shit. I have a foundation of people who support me. And I'm just trying to grow that foundation little by little. You know what I mean? You know?
True. Okay. So we're definitely doing this again.
Let me know. Like whenever. Just let me know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I'm sorry.
Much love.
I should have judged him better before I invited him on. We're still gonna do this again.
You gotta vet me. Next time I'll wear a turtleneck. I'll quote Charles Dickens. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know. Wait. But there might be racist parts. I don't know.
You find racist too.
Much love. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye.